After several tests comparing an untreated plot and a plot having received a pre- or post-emergent herbicide, we can confirm that the use of herbicides allows for 40% yield increase in average. For farmers, a weed is a plant that grows in its field without having been intentionally installed there and which interferes with production objectives. We can distinguish two main groups of weeds. Monocots. They have circular stems marked by internodes. Their leaves are tapered with parallel veins. These plants often have long and thin leaves like those of Rhodbellia. W&CA belong to the group of monocots. They can be identified by their triangular stems and the leaves all start from the base. And dicots with wide leaves like those of Ageratum. Also, the secondary veins of the leaves are perpendicular to the main veins. Weeds compete with the crop for nutrients, water, and light. They eat up the resources dedicated to the crop. They hamper the development of the plants and therefore the yield. In continuous and intensive cultivation, the absence of weeding within 30 days of sowing can result in a loss of production of 35% or even cause destruction of the crop. That is why it is critical to adopt weeds management. To control weeds, actions must be taken before and during the development of the crop. It is recommended to do crop rotation. For example, if I sow cotton on my plot this year, I'll change next year by sowing corn. This will limit the floor selections. Avoid adding weeds by using poorly prepared manure that contains a lot of weed seeds. Manure should have the necessary time for fermentation to ensure proper decomposition. When sowing, it is important to use clean, well-sorted seeds which do not contain weed seeds. Sowing must be carried out at the right time, respecting the density recommendations in order to limit the weed's pressure. Harvest should be done early to avoid contamination by mixing with weed seeds. Several agronomic methods also allow weed control, such as manual hoeing or harnessed cultivation. All forms of agronomic intervention have their limits. For manual management, it's often the lack of available manpower. As labor force is becoming increasingly scarce due to the arduousness of the work, it is necessary to consider other solutions to manage weeds, such as herbicides. There are several principles by which herbicides are classified, but here are the main ones. A total herbicide is an herbicide that can destroy all herbaceous vegetation. A selective herbicide is an herbicide which, when used under the recommended conditions, respects the growth and development of the cultivated plant while destroying weeds. Herbicides can also be classified according to their action at the weed level. A contact herbicide is a product causing necrosis of plant tissues and localized burns on the treated parts without spreading inside the plant. A systemic herbicide is an herbicide that penetrates the weed, then transported by the sap, it will migrate into the plant and be able to reach the different parts of the weed, which will cause its death. Most herbicides on the market are systemic products. We can also differentiate herbicides according to their application period. Pre-emergence herbicides are products that are used just after sowing, but before weeds and crop emergence or before transplanting. They must be applied on a clean and moist soil. Post-emergence herbicides are products that are used after the crop and weeds have emerged. There are several types of treatment, full or directed. In that last case, when the herbicide is not selective, a cover is used to guide the spray cloud on the target to be treated while avoiding touching the crop. It is essential to protect yourself during an herbicide application by wearing personal protective equipment (PPE) suitable for the application of phytosanitary products which must cover the whole body. The necessary equipment for herbicide application consists in a backpack sprayer equipped with nozzles adapted for herbicide treatments, flat jet nozzles, which can be of two types: amplitude of wide coverage nozzles for pre-emergence herbicides, control nozzles or brush for total and post-emergence herbicide applications. The control of weed is a priority whatever the cultivation. The fewer weeds in the field, the higher the yield should be.